everybody, Richard again here from Electric Classic Cars, and today's video is going to be kind of a Battle of Britain video. It's like David versus Goliath really, because what we've done, we've taken what I think is two of the best like little sports cars from the 1960s, and we're going to do a review of them today, like a head-to-head, but not one of those cheesy like Top Gear head-to-heads where they have challenges and like all this rubbish. We're just going to do an honest review. The sun's out and just go driving and enjoying them today. And Tim's brought his Austin Healey out, and I've brought this MG Midget out. The main difference is this is electric, and this I believe has some new fandangled thing called a petrol engine. Is that how you pronounce them? But I know nothing about that, so I think what I'll do, I'll start on the MG Midget and just explain a little bit about this car, because I know this one, and then Tim will have to come in and tell him about this big beast of a thing. So what have we done on the MG Midget? Well, it's a conversion we did a year or so back, and what we've done is kind of tried to keep it true to the original concept of the MG Midget, which keep it light, keep it fun, and give it a bit more power than it used to have, because it didn't really have much. It had like a mini A-series engine, I think, in the front. Is that what it was, Tim? Do you remember?
Yeah, 1275 A-series.
Tim used to have an MG Midget when he was a teenager, but because it didn't have a back seat, say no more, he then upgraded to, what did you have at the MG?
A Nova 1.3 SR.
Oh, boy racer.
Yeah. Boy racer car.
So he probably knows more about the MG Midget than I do, but I'll try my best for you. So what have we done? Well, first of all, the customer had this car since the 1980s, and he got married in it. He went through the Alps and on holiday in it. He lived in this car, loved it for decades. But when we got it, it was in a little bit sorry state, so we did a restoration on it. So we brought it up to like the standard it is now, and we knew when we were going to electrify it that, you know, we really needed to pay attention to things like the suspension and brakes. But not knowing my British sports cars, we got in touch with a company called Frontline, who I very much recommend to anybody that's going to upgrade their MGB or MGs. Give them a call, because they really know their stuff. So we've got a full Frontline on this. So we've got disc brakes all around. We've got a Frontline suspension upgrade package as well. 5-speed gearbox in it as well, because the old gearbox probably wasn't going to be able to cope with the torque of the Hyper 9 motor that we put in it. And if I pop the bonnet, we've so I've given the game away. We've got a Hyper 9 motor in it, which is around about 120 horsepower. And okay, that's not a huge amount, but in an MG Midget, it's enough, believe me. It's kind of like a sporty MX-5 sort of like feel to it now. So if I can find it, there it is. So what else have we done in here? So we've got the half the battery pack in here. So we've gone with LG Chem batteries in this, a total of 20 kilowatt hours, which is quite small. But you've got to remember, it's quite a small car. It can't carry much weight, so we wanted to keep that weight nice and light as well, and keep it around about the same weight as original. So we've got half the battery pack up front, half in the back. But even with a 20 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is tiny, you're still going to get around about 100-mile range driving normally. And you know, today, I doubt we'll cover that today by any stretch, and we're going to probably be out most of the morning, if not into the afternoon. So in the front here, as I say, we've got the Hyper 9 underneath there, attached to the 5-speed gearbox. Half the battery pack here, we've got a charger there, DC converter there, high voltage junction box. But apart from that, that's it, nice and neat. Interior wise, now, the customer in an MG Midget is, I believe, 6'4", the customer. So we had to pay quite a bit of attention to try to make sure that he fits in comfortably. So what we've done is we've put some MX-5 seats in, which are a little bit thinner at the back to be able to get the seat back another inch. We've also just manipulated the pedals a little bit to basically push them further forward and a little bit better spaced as well. So he can now fit in comfortably, let's put it that way. I'm not sure if he'd want to do really long journeys in it, but you know, Tim, how tall are you? You're 6 foot?
Just over 6'1".
6'1". So I think if you have a go in it today as well, we'll see how you fit in it as well. So at some point we'll swap over. So that's the MG Midget. So restored, upgraded and electrified is probably the summary of this one. Now Tim, I know nothing about yours, mate, so you'll have to come in and tell us all about your lovely Austin Healey 3000 Mark III. So yeah, I can read the badge, that's about it. So go on, tell everybody about yours, mate.
So, hello everybody. This is a 1964 Austin Healey 3000 Mark III, but it's referred to as the BJ8. So it's the last of the Austin Healeys, of the big Healeys. This is an early one of the last ones, so they stopped making them in 1967, I believe. And you'll notice that it's left-hand drive. So this was originally made for the US market, and it went to Alabama, I believe.
A lot of them went to America, didn't they?
A huge amount. I think in 1963, I think it was, about 92% of all Austin Healey 3000s made went to the US. And I think generally it's about 80%. So these are quite common over in the States. Maybe there's some American viewers that'll, you know, say, oh, we've got one of those, or I think they're a lot more common over there than they are here. But it's all standard, so there's no upgrades at all on the engine or the suspension or anything. It's got a 3-litre straight-six engine with twin SU carbs.
That's probably why we went to the States, mate. The gas prices over there are a lot cheaper.
That's right, yeah.
I doubt if this is cheap to run.
No, you get about 20 miles to the gallon out of it if you're lucky. So I do suffer from range anxiety occasionally. But yeah, so it's got twin SUs, so it can drink the fuel if you put your foot down. The engine isn't a particularly high revving engine, but it's got loads of torque.
Right.
So you'll find when we drive around today on the big hills, this hopefully should be able to keep up with you.
Oh, is that a challenge?
Yeah, I reckon, no problem. No problem.
We'll see. Right, and horsepower-wise, what did you say?
150 horsepower.
150 versus 120.
Yeah.
But that's probably a bit heavier
Yeah.
than this, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a big lump of an engine. It's quite heavy.
And how many gears?
It's got 4 gears, but it's got overdrive.
Overdrive as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overdrive on 3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I say, 150 horsepower. So considering it's a car from 1964, it keeps up with modern traffic. You can imagine that being quite a tool in 1964.
Yeah, I mean,
with
these were
150
quite a
horsepower.
successful rally car back in the
Oh
day.
yeah,
weren't
yeah. They did a lot of competition with these in endurance racing, like Sebring, and I think they did Le Mans, things like that. But definitely the rallying as well.
they? Awesome.
And if you remember, Pat Moss was quite famous, and I think Paddy Hopkirk rallied these as well. So yeah, they
Disc
were quite
brakes on the
successful.
front as well? Or?
Disc brakes on the front, drums on the back.
Okay, cool. Right, I think that's enough talking about these cars. The sun's out rarely in Wales, and we got some of the best roads where we live as well. So when the sun's out and it's nice and quiet like today, and today is also like a classic car drive day,
I think it's called. Yeah.
So it's a day to encourage classic car owners to get their cars out for that rare occasion and drive them, which is not a rare occasion for me because I drive classic cars every single day and have done for decades. I don't even have a modern car, not unless you count my wife's Tesla Model 3, but I very rarely get to drive that. So let's get out on the roads. Let's enjoy it. I'll go first and let's do a 0 to 60. The only tip of the hat to Top Gear we're going to do today, if you like, is going to be a 0 to 60 test because I've brought my draggy along and I'm quite curious as to what the 0 to 60 is going to be at the MG Midget, and then we'll compare it to its big brother, if you like, with the big Healey.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing we're going to do today, but the main thing is just go out there, have some fun and drive on the road, and I think at some point we'll just swap over.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Sounds good.
Let's get going.
Let's off road.
Well,
that was last week,
let's
wasn't
not
it?
do that.
That was last week. Today we've got my Healey out, and we're going to see how it compares with this little midget I've got in front of me, which I'm struggling at the moment to keep up with. I was hoping that the bigger, meatier car would be able to keep up with him, but he's just going around the corners so much quicker than I am. So there's a bit of a straight coming up in a minute. Hopefully I'll be able to catch him up a bit then. I imagine one thing that he's going to be not enjoying though is this lovely soundtrack I've got from this. I got a 3 litre straight 6 engine, and it's got twin exhaust pipes, and it gives this lovely, lovely sound. I don't know if we can hear that on the camera. These Austin Healey 3000s were known as the Big Healey, and I think that's because it's not a particularly big car, but it's a real handful to drive. I got this big steering wheel, and it takes quite an effort to get around the corners, and I can see just from here, following the Midget, he's not having to do any of that. He just seems to be, you know, nipping in and out and being so much more agile than I am.
The first thing I noticed on this already is the handling is fantastic. It's just like a go-kart. It really is like a go-kart. And I love the fact that I've got the gears as well. I mean, I'm coming into a corner here, it's quite tight, and I can change down in a second. Oh, and up the hill we go. It's lovely to have gears again. I mean, nothing wrong with not having gears, and certainly with the more powerful cars we build, it's a good thing it's not got gears. But it's just a lovely package altogether with the better brakes, better handling, the gears, and it's just fantastic. I really, really am impressed with this car. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah?
Like that?
I was struggling to keep up with you then.
Tell you what, my cheekbones are aching now because I was smiling so much. It's brilliant. This thing goes like a little pocket rocket.
I think my fingers are hurting from holding the steering wheel so tight.
You've got to have a go in this.
Yeah, I'd like to swap. I'd like to try it.
Honestly, it's like a little go-kart of a thing.
Well, that's the most obvious thing for me, the fact that even though I've probably got originally the faster car,
right,
I'm really struggling to keep up with you around the twisties. You're going around corners and braking a lot easier than I am, so I'm really struggling to keep up.
Yeah, we'll swap over, and I'll take it easy in that because I've never driven that. But this thing,
And it's mine.
and it's yours. But this thing, honestly, it's a fantastic little pocket rocket. I've stopped here because there's a long straight, and I want to do a 0 to 60. So if we grab the draggy, you jump in this, we'll do a 0 to 60 in this, and do the same in that.
Okay.
And I'll see what the numbers are.
Cool, right, that'll be good, and then we'll have a swap over, and you can try and keep up with me then.
Right.
Before we go, I've just been thinking while I was following you, where's the charging socket on this?
Ah, good point. So there's no external filler, so we have to do a James Bond flip-up number plate.
Ah, cool.
There you go, so it's underneath there.
Cool, very flash.
Right, and the other thing actually to the eagle-eyed viewers out there that people might have picked up on is there's 2 different types of front wings on this. There's an early and a later midget wing. So you can see, because the indicator stroke side light is higher on one side than the other.
Yeah, right.
And the customer wanted to keep that because when he was strapped for cash as a youngster, when he did a restoration back in the late 80s, 90s, I think it was, that he could only afford one of the wrong wing, and he put it on there. He thought, no, I want to keep that.
That's good history of the car,
it's
isn't
part
it?
of the character of the car.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Right, let's grab the draggy. You jump in this, and let's do a 0 to 60.
Right, okay.
Right, so we've got a long straight ahead of us, nobody about, and I've got my draggy on, just on the dashboard. So you ready, Tim?
I'm ready.
Holding on tight?
Hold on tight. Here we go.
Take it to bars. Right, ready, steady, go. So second gear, third gear, fourth gear. I think that's enough. Quarter mile. Right, let's have a quick look.
What you got?
What's the scores on the doors? Right, 0 to 60. 8.46 seconds, so it's 8.5 seconds, 0 to 60.
That's got to be quicker than the original.
I've no idea what the original was, but I tell you what, we'll put it in the text here. Now it's your turn, Tim. See
Right.
what the Healey see if the Healey can do 60 miles an hour by the end of that straight. Ready?
It's a big ask. We'll give it a go. Go on.
So your turn, Tim.
Yeah. Let's see what the Healey can do.
What do you reckon it's going to be?
I'll be surprised if it gets there, to be honest.
Right, we've got a clear run ahead. I've got the draggy. So ready when you are.
Ready?
Yep.
Did we get to 60?
Did we get to 60, you reckon, Tim?
I don't know. It's going to be hit.
Let me have a quick look. Right, where is it? See if I can zoom in. No, I can't. I'll just say. Right, what is it? 0 to 60 is
3.2 seconds.
no. There it is. Right, I've got it. Right, you ready?
What is it?
14.7 seconds, mate.
Well,
Oh, that's not bad.
must be because of your weight in here, I think. It would have done it
Whatever.
easily under 10.
Right,
Okay, so that's quite a difference, isn't it, between this and the midget?
I reckon it's time to swap over now, mate.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so I'll have a go with this. You have a go with the midget.
Right. Right, I'm finally in the midget. And the first thing I notice is it's just so much smaller than the Healey. It's such a small car. I mean, my feet, I feel like they're touching the front wheels. They're not far away from the wheels. And also, it's a lot quieter. Obviously, the big Healey has a bit of an exhaust sound to it. This is just silent. I can hear the birds singing and the sheep. Oh, there we go. Get out of the way. Like, yeah, so it's such a different experience. And the other thing that's quite noticeable is how it picks up. This has got a Hyper 9 motor, and when I put my foot down, oh, it's just, even though this has got on paper less power than the big Healey, it just accelerates so much quicker because I don't have to worry about the gears, and it's just got the instant torque. Even though the Healey engine is a big torquey engine, this is much quicker. So I think the biggest improvement on this little car must be the handling. It just handles like a go-kart, and I hate to use that word, but it's the only one I can think of that explains how well it goes round corners. I think they must have upgraded the suspension on here and changed it from the old Armstrong lever arm dampers, which are the same that are on the Healey, to telescopic units, because it really has transformed it. And I think that's the biggest change, the biggest difference between this and the Healey is on the Healey it's hard work. You're always working hard to drive that car, whereas this, it's just easy. Anybody could get in this car and drive it. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not sure I want to swap and give him back.
Right, I'm in Tim's big Healey now, and I'm really going to have to take care of it because this is his pride and joy. But initial thoughts, it's a bit of a beast. Oh, it's that noise. That reminds me of the old days. Well, I better concentrate now because I got clutch balance and all that stuff to do again here now. I don't have to do that in that electric car. So I've come to a junction here now. Oh, I'm gonna have to do handbrake and all this malarkey. Hang on a minute. Oh, it's like doing your driving test all over again. Whereas obviously within the Midget, you can't stall an electric motor. So when you come up to a junction, just leave it in gear. You don't even touch the clutch. Just come up to it in second or third, come to a stop, and then press the accelerator to go again. Simple. Another thing that I've got to keep my eye on is the corners, because I've got to plan ahead for the brakes in this compared to the MG. The MG is super nimble. I just like put my foot on the brake, whoop, we're stopped. And on this, I've got to plan ahead. It's like applying in advance for braking permission. It's a lovely old thing. I mean, it's a nice car. I'm not going to diss it whatsoever. It's a beautiful pleasure to drive. Massive steering wheel. I think it's walnut dash. The dials actually look exactly the same as the MG Midget. And one thing I have noticed is there's a lightning strike on the 3000. So the emblem, if you like, has already got a lightning strike. So it's halfway to being electric. I wonder if Tim's going to be tempted to convert this to electric. We'll have to find out later. Oh, definitely doesn't handle as well as the MG though, going around that corner. Woohoo! Well, this is a lot of fun. But I think as far as handling is concerned, the MG wins and performance. So there you go, mate. What do you reckon to that?
Well, it's been an interesting afternoon, isn't it?
Tell you what, we missed out on pub lunch. If you notice what time it is, we set off in the morning, had so much fun, and it's what?
So we've been driving since 10:30.
What time is it now?
4:30? No, 3:30, sorry. So yeah, we've done a few miles today, haven't we?
So, what was your first impressions of driving this?
First impression was it's a bit smaller, and it just handles and drives so much better than this. I hate to say it, but it does. And I also think that people might think that by converting a classic car to an electric car, it no longer, it sort of ceases to be a classic car. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's the case, because when I was driving that, I still felt like I was driving a classic car. It still sort of rattles a bit and you feel like you're in a classic car. But it just made it so much easier to drive. Yeah. Whereas this, I don't know how you felt with this, is hard work.
It's not quite a chore, but it was, yeah, you have to put a lot of effort in. And it reminded me of one of the reasons why I converted classic cars, 7 years ago when I started doing this. It's to just improve them. And that is what we've done on this, I feel. I mean, it's not just the electrification, it's the fact that the brakes are so much better now they've been upgraded. And the handling is so much better now they've upgraded the handling. The overall package makes this a real pocket rocket of a sports car now. It kind of is a sports car. It's not just a little, underpowered little 1960s topless British car. It's sporty now.
It's certainly the easier car to drive and the one that you'd want to be in if you were doing any sort of distance, I suppose.
It's comfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is comfortable. Yeah.
I mean,
and I fit in it quite well, 6'1".
I enjoy driving that, but I wouldn't want to drive it for as a daily driver or regularly. I would probably enjoy that a little afternoon now and again.
I mean, I drive this quite a lot. When the sun shines, I'm always out in it, but I tend to drive it for about an hour or so. I go for a spin for an hour and a half, and that's probably enough. By then your ears are ringing and you need a bit of a rest, but I think you're right.
I noticed something that reminded me as well as of my old days of driving petrol classics. There was a funny smell that happened halfway around the corner.
That was you.
No, it wasn't me. For a change, it wasn't me. But it brought back the nostalgia of oh yeah, is that okay? It was that whole sort of sitting on the edge of your seat a little bit on edge because what's that smell? That wasn't there before. Is that normal? Is there clutch going, or is something happening? Is it about to break down? And before, when it wouldn't start with you, or you were that hasn't done that before. And it reminded me of I don't get that anymore, no. And you feel much more relaxed in it.
That's definitely true. And of course, we've just been thinking about how much fuel is in here, and you made the mistake of looking at the fuel gauge.
What did you say? That looking at a fuel gauge, they're about as honest as a politician.
Well, a particular politician, yeah.
But no, we've had a fantastic day out today. I mean, really enjoyed these cars. It brought back memories of driving petrol cars for me, but it confirmed, to me that converted electric, classic cars are definitely, better. There's no easier way to put it.
Yeah, no, it is an improvement. I don't think they should all be converted, but it's definitely.
I'm slowly persuading you though, aren't I?
Well, maybe.
But there we go. I hope you really enjoyed this video today. Let us know in the comments below what other British classics you think would really benefit from being converted to electric. And
we'd like to know as well, which car would you prefer here? Do you like the big Healey or do you like the little Midget that's been converted?
Yep. And equally, would you prefer which car in electric as well, or like in petrol? So let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are. But I think it's time to head off to the pub and see if we can just grab a bowl of chips and maybe
I
half
think
a
you'll be
shandy.
lucky.
And we'll leave it at that. So hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.